Coming up on this edition of the Desert Vision, we celebrate Women's History Month as well as the 30th anniversary of the liberation of Kuwait.
We'll also hear about man's best friend and how a little competition goes a long way.
Welcome to the Desert Vision, presented by U.S. Army Central. I'm Specialist Max Youth.
And I'm Sergeant Kat Mazos. Those stories and more coming up. March is Women's History Month. And Area Support Group Kuwait Staff Sergeant Drew Tao caught the opening ceremony for this year's celebrations at Camp Buehring.
Today was our open ceremony here at Camp Buehring, and we had a bunch of events take place to basically open up and kick off the celebration of women's history. So today we did a celebration, I had some music, we sang the national anthem, we kind of talked a little bit about the importance of women's history and why we celebrate it.
To make sure that we inspire our young women and that we inspire all of our young men who have women in their lives.
One of the common themes is empower women. So that whole theme of we are supporting one another, we're encouraging one another, we're going to stand side by side, push for more progress.
I am a woman, phenomenal woman. That's
we had a
me.
vice president who's a female today, so that was, that's historic stuff. So if we continue to encourage each other, continue to uplift one another, there's a lot more that we can do. So the best is yet to come.
This year's theme for Women's History Month is I Speak for My Sister.
Sometimes we need a little extra push to keep ourselves fit. I had the opportunity to see firsthand how the soldiers of one unit at Camp Arifjan are helping motivate each other every morning. Physical fitness is a cornerstone of unit readiness. While many units encourage individual training, the 793rd Medical Detachment ensured everyone made it to the gym.
At first, our unit just decided to start going to the gym, and we realized we were going into two different groups at two different times.
And then from there, we just kind of started roping the soldiers in, and before you know it, half the unit was going at 7, half was going at 8. We walk around and we flex on each other, or, things like that. It's just all in good fun, and from a unit commander perspective, it's a great thing. When I go in the gym and I see my whole units in there working out with me, what a motivating thing to see everyone's getting fit.
It helps unit cohesion because it brings us all together doing something where we're all trying to better ourselves, and it helps us just work more collaboratively towards the same goal.
It's all in good fun. Really, there's no winner or loser. For me, I'm just happy to see everyone partaking in it.
For U.S. Army Central, I'm Specialist Maximilian Huth.
We'll have more from U.S. Army Central right after this.
On this episode of the ACFT Survival Guide, we'll be tackling the 3-repetition maximum deadlift. This exercise focuses on glute and hamstring muscles, the trunk muscles, the upper back and shoulder muscles, quadricep muscles, and forearm muscles.
So the upward movement, right, we're assessing the hips, the knees, and that lower back, and then also the grip strength. The lowering is almost the same thing, but in reverse. It's how you release that tension, right? So one of the keys to the max deadlift is you don't throw the weight down. It's got to come down so it's in a controlled motion. There's some exercises with just body weight that we can do to help ourselves prepare for the max deadlift event. So the sumo squat, you'll start with the weight between your legs, then you'll just come straight down and then stand, and then it's just a hold, and then squat back down, and then release, and then stand erect to finish. So the next one we'll do is the single leg deadlift, but we'll start, and you're gonna plant on your right foot, and raise that left foot and come down flat-footed, driving your weight through your heel on that right foot, and then stand erect once again. Next one that's key for the development of the max deadlift is the alternate staggered squat jump. We'll start in an alternate stance with your left foot leading. You want to make sure that you stay back and keep your hips to the rear, and your knee is directly over your ankle line. The last one is just a simple air squat. So we're gonna sink low with that concentrated air squat, really trying to remember that we're driving our weight through our heels, okay? And then you're done.
Military working dogs are highly trained in their jobs. U.S. Army Central's Private First Class Juan Carlos Izquierdo shows us that even the most skilled military working dogs are still just puppies at heart.
The Area Support Group Kuwait Directorate of Emergency Services K-9 got together with the 745th EOD from Grayling, Michigan to do some roadway and building bomb identification training in Camp Buehring, Kuwait.
At the end of the day, it's a dog team, so you both work together. You're paying attention to your dog, but you're also looking around to make sure your dog doesn't step on anything or hurt themselves, and then you're watching to see if they catch on odor and everything and respond.
If the dog is trained well, it's going to respond on the items that it's supposed to respond on. What the handler needs to be doing is searching the surroundings for individuals, other devices, other areas of interest.
When the K-9 finds one of the planted bombs, they are awarded with a toy and a brief moment of playtime with their handlers.
It helps reassure them that, okay, if I find this, it unlocks what I really want, which is the reward. So we play with them because it encourages that behavior to search and want that reward more.
You've done what I wanted you to do, and this is your reward for it. We play with them because the reward is not just the toy itself. The reward is the interaction with the handler.
The dog is like kind of your best friend. You create this really good bond, and then once you bond more, you start to trust that dog more. It's a crazy bond because if that dog saves your life, you're like, oh shoot, I'm alive because of the dog.
Training like this helps cement the bond between the dog and handler.
For our final story, we celebrate alongside our Kuwaiti counterparts. This year marks the 30th anniversary of the liberation of Kuwait from Iraqi occupation. Specialist Elizabeth Hackbarth attended the Liberation Day festivities at Camp Arif Jan.
Area Support Group Kuwait and Kuwaiti Land Forces came together in celebration of the 30th anniversary of Kuwait's liberation. In attendance were several key leaders. Commander of the Kuwaiti Land Forces, Brigadier General Muhammad Al-Dafiri, thanked the U.S. Army for all they did those 30 years ago.
لكل جندي وضابط صف وضابط شارك في عملية الصحراء الجيش الأمريكي شكرا لتضحياتكم شكرا لعطائكم.
U.S. Army Major General Patrick Hamilton presented Al-Dafiri with a gift to show his gratitude for the partnership. Other special guests in attendance included retired Brigadier General Faraj Asmal, an EOD expert for the Kuwaiti Land Forces during the Gulf War, Mr. Salah Al-Ali, a translator for General Norman Schwarzkopf during the Gulf War peace agreement negotiations, and Dr. Hind Hamad El-Bahar, a medical doctor and humanitarian living in Kuwait during the Iraqi invasion.
And that's when we really found out about the invasion of Kuwait.
The Liberation event also included guest speaker Gustavo Ferrari, an award-winning photographer who spent 30 years in Kuwait, capturing the country's history and struggle for independence.
They could break the infrastructure of the country, but they couldn't break the spirit.
After the event, ASG Kuwait hosted a luncheon where Kuwaitis and Americans joined together in fellowship. For ASG Kuwait, Specialist Elizabeth Hackbarth.
Well, that'll do it for the Desert Vision, presented by U.S. Army Central.
For more stories, check our Facebook page at facebook.com/US Army Central.
For the 891st Engineer Battalion, I'm Sergeant Kat Mazos.
And for U.S. Army Central, I'm Specialist Max Youth.
Patton Zone.
Always forward.